relaxed. You know what? That could play a part tonight.
Sometimes when you get to this stage in épée, just the fact that you've made it this far and you've never been here before can give you that extra confidence to go through to the final.
TV pictures tonight, as always, as we've come to expect here. And look at the lights, the star, the formation here is amazing. And we've had this star piece being used throughout the day. But tonight, those pieces are in darkness, but the lights around them are being used to show the audience inside, and I'm sure us on this feed, a great display every time a hit's scored.
Yes, during the daytime you can see this actually laid out with the Brazilian flag in mind, the cross of the Brazilian flag. As the fencers get this first of the semi-final underway. Katrina LEHIS, tall, rangy Estonian on the left of your screen. Tatiana LOGUNOVA of Russia on the right.
LOGUNOVA ranked 8th in the world, LEHIS 15th. So pretty close in terms of world ranking, and you've got to say that this is definitely going to be tight throughout. LOGUNOVA using her the style that she's been using all day, patiently waiting, looking to pick off hits around the wrist. LEHIS always on the move, always bouncing up and down, but always in control. Both very upright fencers. Classical style from both of them.
Well, LOGUNOVA took out Sun Yuji from China, also a very tall athlete in the quarterfinals. And it was speed like that that saw her on her way.
Yeah, a little mistake there from LEHIS, stepping in, looking for a circular cease binding of the blade. Missed it completely, but like you say, the acceleration from the Russian going into the low line and hitting the Estonian on the leg. Done a spot-on job with the lights here, Graham. If you look at the picture that is being broadcast, you cannot see anything behind. And what that means is you can see the blade movement so clearly.
Yeah, with the naked eye, looking from the position that we're looking from, which is very similar. We're just literally below the main camera. So with the naked eye, we can see the people in the audience in the background. On the camera, on the screen, all you see is black, all you see is the blades.
And that's all to do with that overhead lighting.
It's also to do with the fact that cameras pick up light in a different way than you do actually with your eyes. And so that's moved the score on to 1 apiece.
Yeah, the Russian just missed there. Brilliant replay we get tonight as well. Fencing across the piste at the moment. You can see that LEHIS is on the right of the piste as she looks at it, but so is LOGUNOVA. So they're fencing diagonally at the moment.
Well, LEHIS is the lefty, isn't she? So we've got lefty versus righty, which is actually quite good from the way that we're looking at it, because it means that we've got them both facing us, if you like.
Yeah, open target areas available to all. And often you see with lefties against righties, another nice, neat attack to the low line there from the Russian. Often you see a lefty and a righty hugging the sword arm side of the piste, so in this case the far side of the piste, but not so far. But
well, they've just danced over there, just as you said that. At least the Russian, LOGUNOVA, has gone over to that side. Oh, that was a good attack.
They caught LEHIS flat-footed there, wasn't ready for that one.
LEHIS going to have to have a word with herself and get into this match.
Yeah, it started a little bit slowly, the Estonian, but very early days.
This diagonal position that they're taking up is quite marked, it's quite pronounced.
Yeah, and very unusual. The left-hander usually is the one that is going to insist on hugging the sword arm side of the piece, because what it does is it blocks out an attack coming from the outside, from around the outside, and they back away from each other at the end of the first period to go into that first break. So yeah, you usually see the left-hander going up against the far side of the piste as we look at it to stop the attack coming from around the outside. LEHIS saying no thanks, but at the moment LOGUNOVA's shown a bit of acceleration, and also that last hit, her third hit, a bit of variation with a feint into the open side of the body, drawing a parry across the body, the windscreen wiper parry as I'm calling it now, so left to right like a windscreen wiper, and LOGUNOVA just went underneath it and hit the target. So a Russian getting the better of it, but LEHIS looking determined, and she's not going to be too worried at this early stage.
Well, Olympic qualification is done, and the teams have been decided, and the individuals who haven't made a team have also been decided, but the actual members of the team, we're hearing that Estonia have made some decisions, and LEHIS is potentially not.
No, LEHIS and Embrich will be the 1 and 2 for the Estonian teams for sure. So it's really about who else is coming. We're hearing that it's going to be Kerpu and Kusk is the other fencer that are likely to be the Estonian team.
But they've got 6 fencers here today.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's quite a strong contingent.
Yeah, and the question mark it really is over who is going to be the reserve, who's going to be the alternate. And I think that LEHIS is likely to. We're likely to see both of these fencing in the individual at the Olympic Games. LEHIS coming out for the second period with a little bit more intent.
Just pushing LOGUNOVA to the back of the piste. The Russians, well, they've got a qualified team.
Well, I think that, the second semi-final with Kochneva is a telling one. I mean, if the Russians haven't already selected their team, then Kochneva is giving them something to think about with her result today. Even if she was to go out in the semi-finals, you've got to say, best result so far for her of her career, and peaking at the right time. Of course, you've got Violeta Kobalova, ranked number 4 in the world. Tatiana Logunova, we see here, ranked number 8 in the world, and then ahead of Kochneva at the moment, without these points counting, is Shatova, Andrushina, Zavrova, Gudkova, and then Anna Sivkova was in the latter stages of this tournament as well. She's just behind Kochneva in the world ranking. If the Russians haven't made their selection, I think we might well see Kochneva at the Olympic Games back here in Rio in 100 and some change days.
So the referee, Giuliano Ranza of Italy, just changing over his timing device?
Yeah. Timing device, battery run low probably. So switch that over pretty quickly.
Again, LEHIS pushing forward.
Got too close before the final attack was launched. Logunova stepped to the side there, and then here you go. Just stepped out of the way of the attack and was able to pick off LEHIS on the arm as she came forwards.
Which is what she did in the quarterfinals against Sun Yuji. Sun Yuji also with good reach, pushing forward, and Logunova inviting her on and then doing exactly that.
Yeah, and LEHIS really is playing into the hands of the Russian here. She's a bit, I don't want to say languid, but it's almost like she's not fully committed to her attack. And like I said before, right at the top of this, when the athletes were being presented, Logunova had a look in her eyes of, right, here's an opportunity for me to score some really big ranking points. She's ranked 8th in the world, so she's going to have a good ranking for the Olympic Games anyway. Looking to parry, and they get caught up in the middle there. The referee will call halt because they are unable to wield their weapons. But these ranking points are so crucial for the individual tournament at the Olympic Games, because the higher ranked you are,
the less likely you are going to draw one of the top seeds.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And that's why being in the top 8 is so important. If you can if there's a big difference between 9th and 8th.
Yeah, then it means your 16 fight is going to be easier. But épée is épée, and the Olympic Games throws up some interesting results as well. When the pressure's on for the top seeds, sometimes you see them crumble. But here, it's all about getting ranking points at this Grand Prix. Do the first job first, worry about the Olympics later.
So tactics very different in épée than they are in both foil and sabre, because of there's no right of way. The fact that you can score doubles, it does make it a much more cagey affair, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's a you know, one could argue it's a much more interesting tactical battle, because part of that battle is maintaining your focus, maintaining your control. I think they've already said to each other, we're going to see this time out, and they do. So we'll go to the next minute break. But you're right, it is a cagey affair, but that doesn't make it any less interesting, because the fencers are looking to pick each other off, and part of the game is to almost lure your opponent into thinking you're not going to do anything. And then all of a sudden you launch this attack. And at the moment, for LOGUNOVA, her incredible acceleration, almost from a standing start, has put her given her this 2-hit lead.
Well, we talked to Britta Heidemann, the silver medalist from London 2012, earlier in the day, and she was saying that the heat outside the venue where the athletes are warming up, it's very, very warm here in Rio. You're talking 34, 35 degrees during the day, and that's having an effect. Even though once you come inside and the fencing in this arena, this is air conditioned, and you know the temperature down here is quite. It's quite cool. You know, we're less than there's a little bit of a chill in the air. Yeah, it's certainly it must be less than 20 degrees in here. But the heat where they're warming up, you just have to do a little bit of exercise out in that heat, and you're going to be dripping with sweat. And then you suddenly come into a cold arena. You've got to change your clothes, come in with dry clothes, and it's having an effect on the actual kind of physical performance of some of the fencers, and particularly with épée, because the points take much longer than in sabre, certainly than in sabre, but also in foil, and so the concentration levels have to be much higher. LEHIS going on the attack now, and finally it seems to be working.
Yeah, she was very committed to that attack, and I mean, I totally agree that the conditions are not 100% favourable for the top, for the fencers to fence at the very, very top of their game. But it's the same for everyone, and what tends to happen when that happens is it's a bit of a leveller.
Well, you say it's the same for everyone, but the top 16 had a bye straight through to the finals today, and Olga Kochneva had to fight her way through.
Absolutely, agree with you.
In a hall that was not air conditioned.
Yes. So, but that swings and roundabouts, because on one half you say, well, she's had to have a very exhausting, bit of effort put in to get to this stage. What she got left in the tank. The other half says, well, she's warmed up, and often you see the biggest upsets in épée happening in the 64, with the top 16 going out because they're not warmed up. They're not ready. They're not fight ready. So it is a bit of swings and roundabouts, but here, medal matches, it's all to play for.
Well, LOGUNOVA just sustaining this 2-point lead that she's had. It's kind of gone to 3s, down to 1, but she's been in the lead pretty much from the first hit on in this match, and does seem to have the momentum.
Yeah, the momentum, and for me, a clearer determination to win the fight. Her point is staying in line a lot more. She's being, reluctant to use the word direct because the fencing fans will see that as an uncomplicated attack. What I mean is that she's keeping a point very much on her opponent's target all of the time, and when the opportunity presents itself, she is being more direct in her actions, as in she's going for the target as quickly as she possibly can. She's still throwing in the compound attacks. There you go, there is one. So feinting, so faking to one side and then changing the line at the last minute. But it is very direct in its approach.
Even though she's actually backing down the piece.
Yeah, she's luring LEHIS into distance. I mean, this is the thing. You don't think because she's going backwards she's not attacking. She's trying to create an opportunity to attack.
Now, Karen, we talked about fencing fans, and we have the comments stream up on the YouTube channel.
We do, yeah. We've been getting messages.
Any messages you'd like to send us?
Well, messages all day, so keep them coming. Finals doesn't mean we won't talk to you.
One question come in said the piece looks like it's made out of some special material. What is it and why?
Well, it's a 40-meter piece. That's the field of play for. That's the length of the field of play for fencing. It's just a metal piece. It's painted, as you can see, just to show the different zones. So you've got the middle line. That's the centre line. The two lines either side of that are the on-guard line. And again, this attack is working for LOGUNOVA. But the special thing about the piece is it's earthed. So it means that if the fencer hits the piece, no light will come up, and that's crucial when you're going for a low line hit or even a hit to foot.
And that's it, it's over. It's over, and the Estonian LEHIS really did not get into that fight at all. The Russian Tatiana LOGUNOVA gave her no opportunity, and it's Tatiana LOGUNOVA that will go through to the final.